Guys, have you ever struggled with jeans that hug your quads a little bit too snug? Or clothes that just don't fit your body right? Well, I've been there, and that's why I'm stoked to tell you about Barbell Apparel's Black Friday sale. Get any athletic fit jeans, chinos, or pants for just $99. Or get yourself the upgraded Athletic Fit 2.0 jeans for just $119. I've been rocking their gear for years now, and the comfort and fit is unmatched, especially for those of us who don't skip leg day. Barbell Apparel is built to power whatever your workouts, your work days, or your travel plans have in store. But there's a quick heads up. Barbell has sold out 8 years straight, so do not wait to go get in on these deals. Get yours before they're gone. Go to barbellapparel.com to level up your wardrobe game, get yourself some new gear, or just click on the link below. Why don't we ever get to know anything? I have to know everything. In life, I have to know everything. I have to know everybody's business. I have to know your business. I have to know who you're dating, who you want to date. I got to know everything about everything. And I must tell you, it drives me nuts when I don't. And there's a lot of people like me, right? There's a lot of little nosy people out there like me. Why can't we ever know what's going on with Chimaev? Why is that? I've never fully understood this concept. I mean, Chimaev is the one guy, regardless of what you're saying about him, will not respond. I like Chimaev, no response. I hate Chimaev, no response. Chimaev should be on the undercard, no response. Chimaev should be fighting for the belt, there's no response. There's a story going on right now for the second time. Khamzat Chimaev cannot travel. There's even a reason why. There's a specific reason why his visa has been pulled. And the evidence appears to be there in photographs. Now, the result that meant he can't fly, nobody knows. He won't tell anyone. His management doesn't tell anyone. I don't even know that he's been asked. I've never seen a time where he was asked. I had an interview with him one day before he weighed in for Kamaru Usman on ESPN. I didn't ask him. I regret it. I wish I would have asked him. I was given about amount of time. I was trying to get to the meat on the bones. We ran out of time. The clock kicked down, and I didn't ask him. But it's a very big story. Sure, that's a big story. What would you do? Now, I know the promotion isn't going to come out and say the answer. You stick to the script, but I'm sharing, what would you do if you were put in that position? If you're doing global business that comes down to a global championship, and you have your top guy that can't move around the globe, what would you do? And one reason I'm a great reference point, guys, is just because I'm a historian. There's very few times that we have to reinvent the wheel. There's much more times that we come into a situation, what do we do here? And then I can tell you, well, in 1989, they were confronted with the same thing, and here's what they did. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I can get you a jumping off point. And this is a spot we've never seen. Never seen anybody have this. Never had it in the NFL, never had it in the NBA. Never had a guy under contract for an organization that travels nationally, domestically, in this case globally, where a rumor comes out as he can't travel. And this rumor has been here for a very long time. Just to remind you on Chimaev, he was booked for October 22nd. For 6 months, for 8 months. It was the single longest announcement that I've ever seen as a fan. Even though it wasn't official. It became official right in that 8 to 10 week period is standard for the recipe of the marketing department. But we knew and were told that that's where he was placed. October 22nd, Abu Dhabi, because he can't travel. We knew that. We even knew it was a co-main event spot. We even knew it was a number one contenders match. And we had all of this information. We even knew it was Paulo Costa. I mean, we had every single piece of this detail for like 8 months. That has never happened before. So we had 8 months to find out if that was accurate. And we go in and Chimaev has the number one contenders match. And that was very sincere. We all believe that to be true. So as you're trying to figure out the answer to the question, which is twofold. First off, is it true? Does he have a travel ban? If he does, where can he travel to? Where is he banned from? That might be of interest. if it's even true. And then you have to be confronted with what would you do if your top guy was in that spot? It looks as though if it's true, we have our answer. Fight him in the same location. They got to come to him. Okay. Okay, pretty simple answer. Or is it? Because he was named the #1 contender, and we've got a spot. It's known as Fight Island, which is in Abu Dhabi, which he doesn't have to travel to. He actually moved and lives in Abu Dhabi. And Sean Strickland's fighting somebody else. Now, there's another story that you guys love to correct me on in the comment section, which is Chimaev broke his hand in the fight. I don't have a problem with you saying that. I just remind you, you don't know that. You do not have a cast. You do not have an x-ray. You do not have a doctor statement. You do not have the UFC confirming. You don't have a management team confirming. You do not have Chimaev confirming. You have a story on the same .coms that say he can't travel, which might be true. And it would just seem like that's very interesting. Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev, they had already kicked things off. The party was started. The announcement was made. We built to it. Chimaev is the golden child of marketing. He is the golden child of MMA. There's only been 3 athletes to ever have this magic star, magic wand waved over them in our sport. 3 ever. Conor, Ronda, him. We've been waiting. We've been counting it down. We are finally here. We were given a criteria, 3 more fights. We're at 4 more fights. We're given a criteria, lock into this weight class, no more 170. Locked into the weight class and no more 170. Beat an opponent. Doesn't have to be meaningful. We're not even saying where he's got to be ranked, but you got to beat an opponent. We'll put in a whole high-profile fight. Well, we former world champion, future Hall of Famer. Will that do? Yeah, that'll do. If you don't think that'll do, he beat your current champion. Okay, that'll do. Everything got checked off. And even if you had a broken hand, I mean, do I need to remind you that Volkanovski had surgery this year and took a fight on 2 weeks' notice? Fought a total of 3 times. He did surgery. He went under the knife. They cut him open. That's what surgery means, when they do a cut. It's quite intrusive, and it was on his hand, which is also his tool. Imagine a framer showing up to work and he doesn't get to have a hammer, right? You're talking about a prize fighter. It's his hand. He never missed a date. He asked for more. You couldn't even tell me when that surgery was. I mean, I'm only bringing that to you. If he did break his hand, I don't want to dismiss that. You've got to go and deal with that. But when you had a fight to this magnitude, to seemingly this magnitude, former workout partners, coaches weighing in, when you're getting the party started and it kicked off in full blast, the first champion of all the champions to be booked, the first champion to be booked was a champion of that weight class, as opposed to a Grace, as opposed to flipping them, as opposed to moving Sean and Cheeto here and you do Chimaev and Strickland go into March. And I don't have a conspiracy here, by the way, guys. I don't have a big issue with this. I just have a point that I would like to know what's going on. If it's a broken hand, okay, fine. We can talk to Dr. Abbasi. We can get a rough guess on what a broken hand. Worst case scenario, when can we expect him to be back? Average case scenario, we can get a dialogue going. We can start playing these games. We can get the calendar out, see if Abu Dhabi is booked in case that rumor is also true. We can bring those worlds together. The healing of the hand with the booking of Abu Dhabi. Where's Sean Strickland? When is Izzy going to return? How's Duplessis going to do? Who turns out to be the favorite? Oh, by the way, is Adesanya returning at 300 to take on the winner of that match, which would mean we're still not going to do Chimaev. And I'm just curious. In a normal situation, you would have managers speaking up. If Ali Abdelaziz was representing Chimaev, you think you wouldn't have heard 20 times by now? Ali would have signed the contract and not even told him about the broken hand. He would have had that locked in, done the media, then revealed and got the date moved. Believe me, he would have found a way and that fight would have stayed intact. There would be no Duplessis. There would be no divergence, of course, if Ali was behind this. And I'm just sharing with you, it's different strokes. Chimaev's manager is awesome. I know him. He's awesome, but he's got a different approach. And that team does not seem to mind having speculation, and it's uncommon. And if Chimaev isn't going to fight Sean, we got to know why. Is it the injury? Is it the travel? Is it a third thing and we're looking in the wrong direction, right? So it's one of these things. But we would need to know why so that we can begin to look to the future and make sure that we don't duplicate whatever this is. If it is travel, if it is a hand, if it is a combination, whatever it is. And then we would also like to know, is he in fact the number one contender? Duplessis is not. Well, Duplessis is. He's got the contract. What I'm sharing with you is Duplessis is not. He won a number one contenders bout. That doesn't mean you fight for a title. We speak that way as a colloquialism. That's not what it means. It means you're offered to fight for the title. As soon as that offer is made, our bargain is now fulfilled. So he then had that opportunity taken not only by Sean Strickland, he had it taken by Chimaev. So we were told. Now it's back to Duplessis. I don't say it to give Duplessis a hard time. I say this so you understand. Duplessis had a deal. He said no. Okay? He got the deal anyway. You have Chimaev, who got the deal, has never said no. Never. So if you have a travel, you have a hand, or you have a third issue, he never said no. So if Duplessis got it, even though he said no because he was next, I can assume that Chimaev would be next, right? But there's a reason these boys are fighting in January. It's fast. It's a fast turnaround. For a match that wasn't talked about, it's fast. I speculate a return, or at least a hopeful return of Adesanya to draw into the winner at 300. That's a speculation. But I have good reason to believe that that is accurate. If that is accurate, where does Chimaev go? Does he just sit and wait? He's 2 fights away? 2 fights in the division have to happen until he draws into him, or do we give him something else to do? If we give him something else to do, what is it? It's an interesting spot. It's an interesting spot. If he doesn't have a travel ban, it's going to be Chimaev versus Paulo Costa at 300 on an undercard with the winner of Duplessis and Sean on top of the bill with Adesanya, or at least that will be the working plan until somebody calls in sick and screws everything up like they always do. But it's very hard to make guesses like this with very limited information. Does anybody know? Does anybody know why Chimaev is not fighting Sean Strickland in January?